My name is Jessica, and this is my story. The reason I'm even making this video is there was a time in my life when I felt alone. Completely alone. So 3 years ago, I was like any other 20-year-old. I was enjoying life, but in January, I had a minor surgery. I was off work for 2 weeks. I found out that I was going to have a baby. That same day, I found out that it was possible I was having a miscarriage. There are no words that could possibly describe how that feels. I was a complete train wreck, and I wanted to, tough it out. I wanted to go to work. I went into work that night, and I told my boss I couldn't even stay for 2 hours. I didn't even make it to my first coffee break. 1 minute, I thought I was okay. I thought I was in control of my feelings and my emotions. The next minute, I was bawling my eyes out. This happened in February that I found out. From the time I found out until the process was over, I'd gone for a lot of tests. When I got the phone call from the doctor saying that the tests confirmed that I had had a miscarriage, I didn't know how to feel. And I remember calling my mom and telling her that I was okay. Because in that moment, after I cried, I thought I was okay. My health went downhill after that. I took some time off of work. I stayed at my mom's. I'm very grateful to my mom. My mom was there for me unconditionally. I will always be grateful for that. It was something that I had to go through. I had decided not to get any counseling because within a couple of months, I felt like I was pulling myself out of that depression. That was the one time in my life that I didn't want to be here anymore. I knew that I had to stay strong because my mom and my brother needed me. I know there are others, but my mom and my brother are what kept me grounded. With a lot of time, I was finally pulling myself out of that depression. Going through that was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. I was pulling myself out of that depression. It was in the middle of April. This was a couple of weeks before my 21st birthday. I hadn't spoken to a friend of mine in a long time, and I wanted to talk to him to let him know that I was okay, and I wanted to let him know what was going on with me. I called him and his phone went straight to voicemail. So I turned to social media. I was at my mom's and I was watching a movie with her, and I was on my phone and I was scrolling through the news feed. I saw his picture with the year that he was born and the year that he had passed away. And it was in January of the same year, around the time that everything with me was going on. I remember falling down the rabbit hole again, so to speak. I went to his page, his profile, and I saw all of these messages on his wall from his friends and from his family, and I didn't want to believe it was true. He was one of the nicest people. That's the thing about suicide, is that some of the most seemingly happy people are going through so much pain and struggling, but they don't want people to see that. His mom was accepting any messages, any stories about him. It took me so long to message her because I didn't know what to say at that point that wouldn't sound stupid or something that hadn't been said before. She was very accepting without hesitation. She told me that my mom and I could go out there to her place and see her and talk to her and meet his family. She took us to the cemetery I know what it's like wanting life to end, wanting all the suffering to end. If I can make a difference in just one person's life, that would mean everything to me. You're not alone. After the first anniversary, it really hit me. You know, there were gonna be a lot of first time things that I was going to miss out on as a mother. The holidays that you think of getting to spoil a child. I had so many people telling me to get over it and to let it go and to move on. But you don't ever let it go. You find ways of living with it and coping with it. It does become easier. Maybe your life is miserable right now. Maybe your relationship is sucky right now. Maybe your job isn't your dream job. But I can say from experience that life won't always be that bad. Here I am 3 years later. Somebody would have told me 3 years ago that I'd have peace in my heart. I would have told them that they were crazy. I understand what it's like to feel like giving up. No matter how many motivational songs you listen to and quotes you read, sometimes that's not enough. Sometimes you have to find that strength inside yourself even when you feel like it's gone. Through recent experiences, through finding my inner strength, recapturing the faith I had, having the faith that I now have, surrounding myself with people that genuinely care, people that inspire me, really has made a difference. And it wasn't too long ago that I was going through a tough time with one of my friends that, of course, I happen to be in love with. Of course. And I've really struggled with our friendship and just having all of those emotions and mixed feelings. With recent events, as heavy as my heart has been in the last couple of months, that is how light and lifted I feel now. I would rather have that one friend or those 2 or 3 close friends of mine that really do love me for me. And believe me, that's not always an easy thing to do. And the family that has been there for me, no words can say how thankful I am. And to my friend's family that became a part of my family 3 years ago, there are no words for that. When you feel like your life is over, that the world would be better off without you, stop and think for a minute. Think about that one family member or that one friend. I know a lot of people don't have anyone. Sometimes what I've had to do is focus on one time in my life that I was happy, not because somebody made me happy, but because I was happy with myself. I love writing. Writing in a diary, writing poems, writing stories. Just think of one thing that makes you happier than anything in the world. Don't give up. 2 very important dates are coming up. The anniversary of my friend ending his life through suicide, and in February, the 3rd anniversary of my miscarriage. I've really noticed that there's a stigma on both topics. And of course, I'm getting a Skype call right now. You know, it's always going to be difficult when dates like that come up. Ugh. Lost my focus completely. Okay, rewind. Back on track. I don't understand why there's such a stigma on the topic of suicide. You know, somebody mentions suicide and it's like, oh no, you can't talk about it. You can't talk about it. That's bad. It's not. It's bad to not talk about it. If you're feeling suicidal, if you have even one suicidal thought, talk about it. Find that one person that you trust, even if it is a complete stranger, and talk about it. If somebody approaches you and they tell you that suicide has been on their mind, take the time to listen to them. Seriously, take the time to listen. Talking about miscarriage, I have found people find it almost taboo to talk about. It's the 21st century and we can't openly discuss miscarriage. I feel more open and able to talk about it now that it's been 3 years. I've had a lot of time to heal and to understand that it's not something that I did. Don't beat yourself up over it. Just remember, you're not alone. Listen to a song, go for a walk, something that keeps your mind semi-preoccupied. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying to push your feelings aside, your emotions aside, and pretend like they don't exist, because that's not good either. I hope this video helps. I hope that at least one person finds the courage to fight another day. Just remember, you're stronger than you think. Thank you for listening. Whatever you're going through, I hope that things get better for you soon. And just remember, stay positive, and always remember, you're not alone.